Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody, wherever you are listening in the world. We're back with another episode on the Fearless Training Raw Knowledge podcast, where we talk everything training, nutrition, and lifestyle collectively. And I'm your host, Alex Connor, and we're off to another cracker week. And we are approaching episode 22 today. They are continually building and growing quite fast. This is exciting. It seemed like the other day we just started, and yes, it's still early days, but there are a lot of amazing guests that have been on, that are coming on, that are in the pipeline, coming to share some knowledge, talk about what we're passionate about, dispel the myths, and at the end of the day, keep it real, which is probably very appropriate in this over-filtered era we find ourselves in currently. Now, before I get into my guest today, a little side note, something exciting is coming, something that I'm very passionate about, that I've been very passionate about, and that is a bit of a milestone for me. Something in the works for many years. I'd always envisioned a way to help people on a bigger scale. And obviously working as a PT when I first started in the gym many years ago in New Zealand, I quickly learned that if I didn't really find a way to, or a platform to be able to teach people, to be very much a dead-end job to a degree. I'd only be limited to how many people I could help. And for me, I've always had this drive to be able to inspire and help other people, and that is as true as ever. And I don't know why specifically, but that is what I love, and I continue to follow that. So, coming soon is finally the Fearless Training United Academy. Now, what is it? It's a place where anyone and everyone will be able to access, if they so choose, knowledge based around improving their training, their nutrition, and their lifestyle, right? In a way that's holistic, okay? And vitally, like everything I do, it's based around education, okay? It's training, nutrition, mindset, lifestyle. It's all of those little facets. And what I want people to realize, and for those who've had the experience of coaching or speaking to me will know that I'm a believer that training is so much more than just lifting weights. It can do so many things for you if you apply yourself, if you let it, if you follow the journey, if you like. It will build discipline, character, skills that you may even not have imagined that can cross over into everyday life to make you a more well-rounded person. It will teach you how to overcome adversity. It will teach you to stick with something and see it through. And it will not only enhance you physically, but mentally as well. There is a large psychological aspect to training, and look, I think most of us get into it for the wrong reasons. I know I certainly did. I got into training because I wanted to look better. I got picked on, I wanted to impress people. It was very much vanity or a place of, weakness, if you like. But as one of my favorite icons puts it, Frank Zane, the muscle is very much it's like an armor. It becomes a story. It becomes your protector, if you like. You cover your body with it. But at some point, for those who progress from that journey, it becomes about so much more than building muscle or looking good in the mirror. And it is about so much more than that. If that is all you have, it's a very sad reality. However, if it gets you started, so be it. And within this academy, I'm going to be sharing with you some of my best teachings and learnings over the years from my experience, but more importantly, the current evidence and literature that is going to be able to help you enhance your mind, your body, your physique for the long term without all of the bullshit that's out there at the minute. So we're going to be using real information from real practitioners, real people, so you can apply it, you can take it away, and you can actually use it. It's going to be engaging, it's going to be fun. Okay, it's going to be real, more importantly. So keep your eyes out for that. We're going to be looking at launching that just before Christmas, and then everyone will be able to access that just after. It's a very exciting time. It's going to allow anyone anywhere in the world to be able to divulge into this community, into this culture, which we will continue building. So in the meantime, thank you once again for all your support. There's a lot coming your way, a lot I'm giving back, a lot of free content as well, regular YouTube episodes. And as I've mentioned on my other channels, we are currently filming a new series in coalition with Icon Kitchens in Robina, where we filmed our latest masterclass this weekend. So for any of you who missed that, we did a snacks masterclass. It was a bit hands-on. We did some live demonstrations. We educated people on basic foods and recipes that you can concoct in your own kitchen to cook smarter and eat better, if you like. And that is part of a new series. So if you want to grab your ticket for the latest masterclass, make sure you do by following the links in the description below. That's fearlesstrainingunited.com. The next one is a 2-hour immersive workshop. But for those of you who do not have access, we are filming a new series on YouTube. They're going to be uploaded very soon. There's going to be weekly episodes where you can tune in with me and my partner in crime, Chef Ash, where we will be going through tasty, quick recipes that you can make at home. It's easy. You don't have to be Jamie Oliver or anything like that. It's going to be affordable. It's going to be easy. We're going to calorie and macro them out as well, so you can get an idea of what you're actually consuming and why. I'm going to educate you around the process and the foods and all those wonderful things. So stay tuned for that. Now, without further ado, my guest this week is like a bit of a sister to me, quite frankly. And for those of you who have had the pleasure of meeting Sandy, okay, you will know that she is full of energy. She radiates positivity. She is amazingly talented of an individual and has a wonderful sense of humor, very much like myself. Always got a smile on her face, and I'm chuckling because we always have the best laughs. Now, me and Sandy met once again quite a few years ago now. It was at Hold Your Own, where Sandy is now a physique coach, and we'll go through a few of the accolades in a moment. And we got chatting. I met her and her now husband Justin, great people. We obviously shared a passion for the iron, if you like, the culture, as my main man Eric would put it. And we got chatting, and obviously we became good friends. We have a similar sense of humor. Sandy is originally from South Africa, as some of you may tell with the accent. It's not super strong, but it's in there. And her love of bodybuilding started with her dad, as he was a bodybuilder back in the 1980s. She pretty much grew up in gyms, similar to myself, and had a massive sporting background. And then she went on to work in big sporting franchises and gyms, and she also managed them as well. Now, as I mentioned, she's currently at Hold Your Own. Her qualifications include a ISSN Sports Nutrition Specialist. She's a Recomp strength coach. That's Recomposer, for those of you who are not aware. Google it. Fantastic. A strength and conditioning coach, Cert 3 and 4 as well. So she's had over 13 years in the industry within strength and conditioning. She specialises in women's physiques as well, empowering strong and healthy women, which I am 100% backing about. We need more of that in the industry. And also creating awareness around it's okay to lift weights if you're a woman and feel good. You know, it's the thick thighs, save lives, all that carry on, because it's true. And that is what me and Sandy go into in this episode a lot. We talk about a variety of topics, and once again, I think we are going to do a couple of Q&As because there's a lot of people out there, especially a lot of women, who have questions around strength training and they're a little bit unsure. And me and Nathan talked about it on the episode. So Nathan being the owner of Hold Your Own and head coach, we dabbled in it, and we want to bring light and a little bit more clarity towards strength and conditioning and what it actually entails, because there are a lot of misconceptions. There's a lot of fear around what can happen. Now, as a female, if you train with weights like a man, you will not get masculine unless you're taking performance-enhancing drugs. And the reason being is you don't have the same minerals. You just do not have the testosterone for it. Therefore, you will not get big and jacked. And what I always find funny is people think that, and you know, guys say this as well, I don't want to lift weights. I don't want to get jacked. And it's like, well, don't flatter yourself, mate, you won't. It takes a little bit of education and a few years of hard work to build an impressive amount of muscle. And for women, what you will get is you will get this beautiful tone, lifted, sexy physique. That physique that everybody desires and that you didn't think you would get from actually lifting weights. So it's quite a ironic situation, if you like. However, we go into more of this, we extrapolate some of the factors, we talk about comp preparation and a few other things in between as well. So guys, as always, if you've got any questions, let us know. Me and Sandy are going to do another separate series where we go through some Q&A and answer these for you a bit more specifically. And if you do have any queries, feedback or concerns, as always, make sure you email, follow the links in the description below, and follow along with everything else that we're doing. But this has been a long intro. Thanks for sticking with it. And without further ado, please enjoy my latest conversation with Sandy Ann Joubert. You ready to go?
Yep, ready to action.
Sandy,
Hello.
welcome to the Fearless Training Raw Knowledge Podcast. Thank you for your time. It's been a long time coming, this one.
Oh, way too long. What, 6, 7, 8 months, hey?
Better
Probably.
late than never, though.
Better late than never.
Better late than never. So let's start off as we always do. Let's address the elephant in the room being we're in a car, specifically the Fearless Training car. Why? Because I'm experimenting with audio. As some of you may know, I did invest in a professional mic a couple of weeks ago. However, oh yes, the furry cat is here. You might be able to see it. I probably edited it out for those of you watching on YouTube. But it's been really echoey, so I've tried different rooms, I've tried different places. I'm trying to get some continuity, all for you, all for the listener. We value your ears. So we've decided to do it in the car. I took a little bit of a leaf out of James Corden's book. I thought, you know what, we can do this better. We're not going to sing.
Are you sure? Maybe just a little bit.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. If it helps.
Tiny bit.
Request a song. We're going to drop all kinds of knowledge bombs on y'all. All right? Perhaps we can have, and again, for those watching, and if you are listening, go onto YouTube. There's a shameless plug, right? Have a little look. No, it'll be good for them. There's lots of other content there. You'll love it. And we could possibly get, more people. And if you contribute and sponsor, then, we will, maybe we'll just get a big Hummer and we'll have a big sort of brown table.
Drive around, get some food.
Why we talk everything training, nutrition and lifestyle. It'd be the first podcast you've ever seen in a Lamborghini Aventador SV.
Be awesome.
That would be actually
Do you think we
really
could do this
cool.
on the motorbike or no? Probably not.
Oh, I know. I was thinking about that.
Yeah.
Well, we could get the lapel mics. That'd be great. Imagine that.
There's ideas for you.
Guys, put them down. Comment, subscribe, all that sort of jazz. You know what it's like. You know what it is.
We could use the Jeep.
That's actually a good one.
Go 4x4.
Yeah, we could. And I feel like people really get on board with that. And we could park in nice backdrops as well. So anyway, this is the first of the car series. So we'll see how we go. We'll see what the feedback's like. We're always about improving, team. We're all about that honest feedback. But anyway, back to it. Now that's addressed. Sandy, let's start as we always do. Bit of a background. Tell us who you are, what you do, where you're from, whatever you feel comfortable sharing.
Oh, how much time do we have?
All the time in the
All
world.
the time in the world. Okay, so I suppose when we're talking health and fitness and lifestyle, I suppose the big thing is how did I get into this industry? I started my Cert 3, Cert 4 personal training as you do back in 2006. We had Fitness First back in those days. Yes, so there wasn't really much competition on the market other than Fitness First. So they came in and promised us the world and was all amazing, and I thought this is so cool because Fitness First wants me. And so I started very fresh, 21-year-old in the industry, straight into a big commercial gym. Worked for Fitness First for quite some time. Back then I had a great mentor, and I still keep in contact with him, Joe Bonington. He taught me a lot about systems and training, and he was really inspiring. I actually then started working in managing with Fitness First. So from there I went out west and managed personal trainers there with a gym in Carlingford. And then I got kind of tired of the whole commercial gym environment, as we all do, the bigger gym. So I approached a smaller gym and started working for them, started PTing with them. The manager left there, so obviously they approached me and said, can you manage for us? I said, yep, great, fantastic. What do you know? Fitness First bought them over. So I was back in that commercial gym environment again. Don't get me wrong, learned a lot through the track.
Full circle.
Especially I think managing PTs as well. Like I was still working as a PT, but managing PTs and seeing what others were doing wrong and trying to learn from those experiences as well. Did learn a heck of a lot during that time, but I did lose, I suppose, my love for the industry. So I left that and started working with kids, and I taught kids got more into fitness with kids, and helped the younger generation, future Australian inspired kids.
That's good. You put your 2 cents in.
Yeah,
there you go.
100%. So I started doing that a bit more, still kind of train mums on the side. And then we took the big move from Sydney, and we made our way to the lovely Queensland state. Went to Brisbane first, which was probably not the best thing.
No,
not
I feel
very
like
coastal.
It's not the epitome of what the Gold Coast
coming
is
from
about.
northern beaches and hanging out over there
yeah.
was probably better to head over to the Gold Coast. So we came to the Gold Coast, and I was given the opportunity to start with your current gym, EMF, purely because they were looking for someone who could, I suppose, train kids and still offer other aspects in the gym. So I thought, what a great opportunity. So I joined up with EMF, and I had a great time with them. I was doing everything under the sun, but still keeping to my basics, which was, probably what we would call power building. So, your big compound lifts, and then a lot of other sort of accessory training with that. And then, about 2.5 years with them. And in the meantime, I was always training at a facility in Burleigh, which you would know very well, Hold Your Own, Nathan Wallace's gym.
Oh, yeah.
I was given the opportunity to go over there and work with him, which was like just an absolute, dream come true, I suppose, because I was always...
I was going to say the same thing.
I was always training there, and that's the kind of training that I enjoyed, and it was just, I've always been involved in that industry. I've worked with several coaches. I've worked with Brandon Kempter as a coach of my own, and I've always been involved in that industry, and that's always been my love and my passion. So how could I say no to that opportunity? Yes, I've been there since June, and it's just been amazing, and it's just gotten me back to my roots, which is, I suppose, pure bodybuilding, lifting heavy weights. I suppose it all comes from when I was smaller, and my dad was a bodybuilder. So at the age of 3 or 4, I was in a gym. I was not afraid of being in a gym as a girl or as a woman going into the gym. It's quite intimidating. And I'm talking old school gym. I'm talking heavy metal, clinging and clanging. And I was like a 4-year-old little girl running around the gym, and the guys are posing. And it was just, that's how I was brought up. I was never afraid. I had my first PT at the age of 15. I was squatting at the age of 16. I was bench pressing. I was doing all that. I never had a fear to lift heavy weights, and it's really built my character and brought me to where I am today, and I absolutely love it.
That's great.
Yeah. Is that enough?
Hey, whatever you feel comfortable sharing. It's good. I think that's a great little synopsis. You summed it up very, very quaintly.
There's much more, but we'll get back to that later.
And I'm sure we'll explore different avenues, and I can drive into them. Oh, that's a dad joke.
Oh,
I know. Only people on YouTube will get that because of the car thing. So anyway, terrible. I better stop.
I love it. That's great.
We've just literally lost the 10 viewers we had.
And gained some dads, yeah.
Clearly, most popular, health and fitness, strength related podcast out there. I mean, everyone else, I don't know what they're doing. Clearly copied off me.
Just drinking some cordial, not BCAAs, but anyway.
We'll get to the supplementation. Sponsored athlete now, are you? Eh?
No, just Diet Right.
Okay.
Diet Right cordial.
Cool.
If they want to sponsor me, more than happy to go through 2 bottles of that a week.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. And any more? Adagio teas? X50? No. None of that?
No.
None of that. Okay.
Lily Dell's chicken, that would be great. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Actually, I would. I'd love to get sponsored
chicken.
by just Aldi, to be quite honest
Oh,
with you.
yeah. Fresh
That'd
fruit,
be great.
veggies.
You never see that, do you?
No.
Aldi.
Just awesome.
Best meats, no bullshit.
Actually,
lowest prices, highest quality.
Not bad.
I mean, that's a sponsor I could get on board with.
Much better, right?
Food first.
Whole foods.
Oh, yeah.
All the way.
And we'll talk more about that.
Absolutely.
Let's then talk more about your coaching, what you specialize in specifically, especially now that you've found more of a niche at Hold Your Own, that you're now more aligned, I think it's fair to say.
Yeah, 100%.
How have you found that journey now coming on board at Hold Your Own? How do you think it's benefited your training, your coaching, your mindset, and the way you approach your protocols?
Yeah, that's an interesting thing, because I think I went into even your commercial gyms always basing everything around my big compound movements. Strength, getting women strong, getting men strong. I mean, don't get me wrong, I've had a lot of male clients, and I think to a certain way they've kind of gone, oh, well, if she can do it, I can do it. Not that is how men think. I'm not trying to be funny.
No.
So always based around those big, strong movements, whether that's bench, squat, deadlift, pull-ups, overhead press. That was always my basis of my training. And that's what I enjoyed. So just about getting strong, progressively overloading, all those terms that we can talk about. And that's what I loved. That's what just throwing barbells around. Going into, I suppose, a commercial gym, you kind of, and I'm not saying this is the thing, but you have so much on offer. Variety. It's just amazing, right? Like you have all these things, and I could even see with my own training, I started to deviate a little bit away from that, and I started to use a lot of machine. Not that I'm saying, if you've got injuries or things like that, great, use those machine-based exercises, go for it. Like, your muscle is essentially just going to be feeling the load, and whichever way you're doing it, don't get me wrong, compound movements are going to give you your best bang for buck, but if you have to add volume by using a machine, go for it, no problems, right? But I think I did lose my thing that I was passionate about, which was my big movements.
The meat and potatoes.
Yeah, the meat and the potatoes. I do love meat and potatoes.
Oh yeah, the basics are the best.
Sunday nights, a little glass of red wine, because I can now.
Oh, got it. That's called balance,
and meat.
I think.
Yeah, but
It's
anyway,
called
whole nother topic. So we can talk about good wines and alcohol and the effect and everything, but we'll get onto that later. But yeah, so I think then going back into hold your own, I really... Like, you go there, if you've ever been there, we've got, 6 or 7 squat racks. We've got platforms. We've got leg extensions, leg curls, lat pull down, some cables. Your basis of your movements are around your big compounds.
Yeah.
So I had just come out of myself personally a pretty hectic comp prep. Unfortunately, didn't make it to stage, but got pretty lean. Was in a pretty good position, but a lot of things happened. So that's another topic we can discuss at a later stage as well.
We will get more into the weeds of that, actually.
Yeah, so I think being back at Hold Your Own and like essentially I never left there because I've been training there since day one that they opened up in Burleigh. I've always been part of the gang, part of the crowd, loved working there, loved training there. I've never stopped training there, even when I worked at EMF. It was just really good to get back into the basics. And I think what I'm trying to get out there, and even though we are very specific, so we do physique coaching and we do powerlifting, I think we're really about, if you go there in the middle of the day or like early morning, it's mostly women that are training there. And it's, I don't want to say gen pop, but it's women that are coming there because they want to be strong. They want to learn how to be strong. They want to feel confident lifting heavy weights. And I'm not saying you're going to start off with your PB straight, or when you start off, you're going to make lots of PBs, but you're not going to go in and lift a massive amount, but you're going to get the confidence to be able to be putting more and more weight on and seeing some really massive changes in your body.
Oh, yeah.
Like I've just seen, I remember someone telling me, actually it was my husband, telling me, you just need to squat your body weight and you'll see the amazing changes. And I worked on that for years. I'm not going to say just a year, years. And I was doing box squats, and the day I squatted my body weight, it was amazing. It was so empowering, and I just saw changes in my body. I can do way more than my body weight now, and I can deadlift way more than my body weight, and I can bench and all that. But it's empowering. It's empowering to lift heavy weights, and I think that's what I'm basing it on. I'm not saying you're going to come in and just lift heavy weights, but
it's a good measuring gauge, or it's one point of measurement as a reference point.
It's great, and I think I'm just trying to get out there to women that you can lift heavy, you can be strong, and you can still make some really good body composition goals. Whatever it is you're doing. If you're going to enter in a comp, great, awesome. Obviously, you're going to get there with that. But if you just want to feel good and look good and still be strong and still be reasonably fit, then that's what you want to do. That's where you want to go.
100%. And I think that's really important. Something that we're both really passionate about is, and not just for the female crowd, but again, it's going back to those basics, those fundamentals that, this actually works. And there's a lot of misconceptions around what these exercises can do, what the protocols can do for you. And it's about, for us, educating people in a better light.
Yeah.
Say, hey, look, it's not about this is the only way to do it.
No.
But if you want a certain specific result, this is one of the most intelligent ways to approach it.
100%.
And then going into more detail about female specific and saying, hey, look, yes, this is not just for guys, this is for females too, and no, you're not just going to get jacked and huge and you will still look aesthetically pleasing. And something that I reference a lot is, it's not what you do, it's how you do it.
100%.
So
technique,
for example, technique, but also it might not be that, okay, well, we've got, say, Ben over here who's, doing strength training for powerlifting, his goal is to lift as much weight as possible.
That's it.
So,
keeping the main thing.
Yeah, very, very high intensity. He's using heavy loads, a lot of power, a lot of specificity, where for someone who might not be, let's say a female, it's not just about strength. Strength is a byproduct, but it's like, okay, well, let's use higher rep ranges and higher volumes rather than low intensities. You
can still make up that overall volume by changing the intensity or the load or the way that you're doing something, and that's the fun thing that we have, is that we can stick to those basics and just change little things. We don't have to be doing sideways leg press for 1,000 reps or booty
bands,
twang thing, whatever.
Oh, the best one I saw the other day, actually we bumped into our friend on the way here, and it's like, I can't even do it in the car, but it's some sort of it's what footballers do. One of their exercises when they warm up, it's like a groin, it's like it's called a hip abduction.
Yeah.
So
I actually saw that on one of the footy
so you bring it up and you sort of, I think it's called, for people who play football, one of the terms to open the gate, close the gate, hip adduction, and it's great because girls do it with this cable, and they do all these cable things, and they're there for an hour in front of the mirror, in front of the cable machine, surrounded by men with high testosterone levels, and it's not actually for the gram, for the validation, but again, nothing personal aside, it's not actually getting them to where they want to be, because again, unfortunately, they don't understand volume. They don't understand that they need to cause a certain stress and stimulus on the body, where they probably could have done maybe 10-15 minutes in the squat rack initially.
And exactly what I was just about to point that out. If you think about what they're doing, right, what are you doing when you're squatting?
Yeah, you're working all of that and more.
Don't get me wrong, I love hip thrusts. Great for building a booty.
Got their place.
But I also find that women are so focused on hip thrust and doing excessive amount of weight on a hip thrust, and then you get them into a deadlift and a squat, and they can't even squat 5% of what they're doing on a hip thrust. To me, I don't know, that doesn't make sense. I don't know how you feel about that, but I still think if you can do good numbers on your squat and your deadlift, then that's just going to transcend into your hip thrust. How is your high amount of weight on your hip thrust transcending back into your squat and your deadlift?
Correct.
How do you feel about
Well, it's a good question, because I was speaking to a client about this, and they do have a relationship. They interrelate, because if you look at, so we've got a hip thrust, which is generally a hip hinge movement. We've got a deadlift variant, more of a deadlift than a hip hinge, but partially a hip hinge, and then a squat variant again. So there's obviously different biomechanics in each. There is a crossover, but again, putting the cart before the horse, if you're solely focused on hip thrusts, it is the number one activator for the glutes.
100%.
But
look at Brett, what he's done with that.
Brett Contreras, exactly. Shout out. An amazing exercise, but once again, it's now let's just zoom out a little bit and not get too focused and think about, well, if I do the squat, then I'm going to work my other muscles, my lower body. Same with a deadlift and their variations, and then obviously upper body movements, because we want overall aesthetics and functionality, not just from a point of visuals, but from a point of actual structural
100%.
and functionality, because it's like saying, really, really obvious example, guys, really huge upper bodies or really big chests, nothing on the back, or really small legs, and it's not only does it look funny and odd, but from a functional perspective, it's not very smart, because you're going to get an injury at some point. It's like building a house with a shit foundation. I mean, and when you say that, people go, "Oh, I wouldn't." You wouldn't.
From the ground up, right?
Right.
Stable ankles, good calves, strong legs.
And then to carry over the upper
100%.
body gains that you get from holding a barbell on your back or pulling it off the floor.
Yeah, totally.
Guys, you're gonna get big biceps. Girls, you're gonna get toned arms. You don't need to do traps. They're gonna get worked if you do.
Your traps, get a massive workout, right?
Which kind of alludes to, if you train effectively and efficiently, and what I mean by that is, as we've talked about, if we are strategic and we are picking these big exercises, all of those gaps are kind of filled. You don't have to fill the cement, because they're kind of just getting done. So then you only have to combine them with a few other specific compound accessories. And you have this well-rounded. I think a good example is, you look at, say, powerlifters in low weight categories who have to maximize their muscle along with their weight, so their body compositions are quite lean. Yuri, Ruth,
I mean, even look at your females. I mean, look at what is Jen that just did Powerlifter's Diary? Shout out to her on Instagram at the moment. Steffi Cohen. I mean, she's as wide as she is short, but I mean, these girls are rigs. They're solid, and they base. I mean, I know Steffi Cohen, they do a bit more of a hybrid performance, so they do transcend into a bit of Olympic weightlifting as well, which I've also done in my past. So there is a bit of a correlation between the two. But these girls, I mean, my husband's giving me grief at the moment because I'm doing a lot of powerlifting. So he's obviously, I've gone from the full-on bodybuilding training and being really lean and low body fat percentage to full-on powerlifter. So he keeps teasing me and saying I'm a fat powerlifter. I used to be a skinny cow. Now I'm a fat powerlifter. So I'm like, mate, do you really want to come into the gym? Obviously, I'm carrying a bit more body fat, but at the same time, there's still good muscle there. But that little bit of extra insulation around the knees.
Yeah, but you're not overweight. It's
no,
feminine.
not at all. It's
but
it's a different. You need that extra.
Look. Yeah.
You need that extra bit of body. Like,
you need to fill those tights out.
Oh, and
without, and then but then there's the girls who take it too far though. There's the girls who take it too far, and then you're like, well, no, now that's just an excuse to be fat because now you put the food before the lifting, and
I'm still eating very nutrition. Like I'm able to eat a little bit more rice, and I'm a creature of habit, so I still have my
Oh yeah.
Hey.
That's all, mate.
Yeah, that's all, mate.
See, that's another benefit of doing things in the car. You can just get people in mid-podcast.
Oh, hey, how you doing? Want to hop in?
Yeah.
Where was I? Yeah, but yeah, it is. You do need that for those heavy lifts, but at the same time, body composition is still pretty good and pretty strong.
Well, it's healthy, and I think, and this is a grey area, right?
Because what we do is not necessarily healthy when you're competing.
No.
It is healthy to a degree. But it's not healthy to be able to not walk. Like, for instance, I think I had this chat with you, walking past a fruit cart and not being able to pick up a piece of fruit because in your mind, all you're thinking is how much carbohydrates is in that piece of fruit and how that's going to muck my day up and I won't be able to have enough. Is that healthy? No. But we love what we do and we're passionate about that, and we do push ourselves to certain extremes.
Part of that journey, isn't it?
That's why it's so nice now, just coming into I suppose a new work environment, and just having the strength and having the energy, and it's just been amazing.
Well, it's a whole new dimension, really, totally. Isn't it? On your actual workouts. See, more trainers. This is. Again, see, we're starting a new trend. You watch them all. They'll all be doing podcasts in cars soon. I tell you. Seat's a bit squeaky. Bit of oil on that. A bit of WD-40. We'll be fixing it. But you're right. And we move through different areas of the spectrum, which I think is important to actually talk about because, sometimes, and again, we talk about this a lot, Sandy, we've got, physique over on one side, and then we've got, say, powerlifting on the other. Not because they're complete opposites, because, you do generally have a different body composition, different goals, even though they still have interrelated areas. And I think, it's like, at the very pinnacle end of your physique, it's not because, you're borderline eating disorders, you're very, very lean, you're looking at maximizing performance with nutritional implementation. And then on the opposite side, same thing, but body composition is very different, and it's all about maximizing performance in the gym, and your food is going in because you need you're a performance-based athlete rather than an aesthetic one, even though performance is important for bodybuilding to maintain muscle mass.
You need that, but still it's a lot harder.
It is, right? But I think finding that balance in between, like, that's where most people want to be. Most gem pop, I hate using that word, but like people who want to look good and feel good all the time, it's like, well, these tools are the same.
Bring the two together.
Correct. And find the balance. And then for people who are really passionate like ourselves, like, we will sort of
one spectrum to the other.
We'll gravitate along that spectrum really well, I think. But I want to go back into, because you alluded to before, your comp rep. So let's now go from a bit more powerlifting. We may come back to that, to the bodybuilding. And let's go in, because I think this is going to be really valuable for a lot of females out there.
Learn from my mistakes.
Correct. Learn from all our mistakes. And this is why raw knowledge, right? Because it's no bullshit. We want real people, real stories, real world.
It's still
advice.
very raw.
Very raw. It is. It can be an emotional topic, and this is why I want to cover it, because I think, again, for females, not that it's not hard for males, but it can be harder because there's less room for error. Hormonally, it's a different setup. It's a different animal.
Completely.
Even
plus
though we're
this,
human.
oh yeah, we're all your head.
Yeah.
We're very emotional beings. You
So
can say
go,
what you want
run
to.
wild, go. I'm letting you loose. Say what you want to say.
Oh,
Start
where do
wherever
I
you want to
start? So once again, it comes back to when I came to the Gold Coast.
Yeah.
And I started training at Hold Your Own. I was absolutely. I drink the Kool-Aid, as hubby says, and I was just, this is awesome, right? Like, look at these people, their physiques. They come in one day, they look a bit fluffy, and they come in, 6 months later, and they look phenomenal. I'm like, I want to get onto this. Like, I reckon I've got a bit of muscle under all this fluff, and let's see what I can look like. And so I did a lot of, and this is the key thing that I want to allude to, I did, as a woman, a lot of yo-yo dieting. As much knowledge as what I had, I realize now, looking back, as much as I thought I was constant and consistent, I really wasn't. So a lot had happened in this time when I was always planning to do a comp prep. And I would diet for a occasion, and then I would, go on a massive holiday, go to Fraser Island, and we just, eat bad and just not worry and not really track things. Not really worried about the off season as such. And then I come back and be like, okay, I've got a challenge going on at EMF. I need to diet down for this challenge and look good for my clients, and down I go. And then, it's all good. I got my holiday coming up. We blow out a little bit again, and you don't think about it. But was I really consistently tracking in my off season? No. And I don't want to say off season, but I was always wanting to compete. There was no, from about, say 5 years ago, that was always my end goal, is I want to compete. And I think a lot of people who know me are like, oh, you haven't competed yet? And I'm like, nah. So you get that question over and over again. Sure. And then kind of, I decided, all right, I dieted down again for my wedding, and then we had our honeymoon, and you went away, and then I came back, and I was like, all right, let's do it. Let's get in. Let's do this. Let's really focus. So wedding was in January 2016. Jay? 2016?
Yeah, no, yeah.
Yeah, what are you
we'll go with that. Yeah. 2020 almost.
We got
2019
engaged.
Came and went.
We were together for 14 years. We got engaged on the 14th of January 2014. So yeah, we got married in 2016.
You better get that right if Justin's tuning in.
Oh, he would know.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah,
Love you.
We'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
He's
though.
a good man.
He's not here to defend himself.
Yeah, he's gorgeous. Love him to bits. So, where was I?
He's a beautiful man.
So, we got married, and then we had a honeymoon, and we got back, and I was like, all right, I was, that clap's going to be really loud.
That is, isn't it?
Hey?
Yeah, that's a thing. That's like iron culture there. They clap. We don't do it at the start. We do it mid, surprise you.
That's strong powerlifter forearm clap, right? I've been a powerlifter for 6 weeks.
You don't know how strong you are. The novelty's not worn off yet.
So we go. So we decided to start dieting and getting ready for. Now you see, this is where it starts going. We're 2019. So yeah, 2000.
Yeah. So you were 2018 comp prep.
Yeah, 2018 comp prep. So that. That was the plan.
I got you. I'll reference
You're
it.
with me. Right? We'll go back.
I was out of my comp prep, so my brain was back in almost 100%. So I'll do the time. I'll reference the timelines. For
anyway, we literally had July, and I started prepping. Right, I was probably a little bit heavier than I wanted to be, and I know I had a long way to go. But once I decided that this is what I was doing, I was so focused, and you would know because that was probably the time that you were coming out of your comp prep. You wanted to go out and eat all these wonderful things, and I was like, Alex, I can't. I can just have a long black, and that's it. And you would have seen where I started and what I went through. So once I said, yep, I'm doing this, I was focused, and you had a lot of motivation around you because people would see you getting leaner and looking good, and that would encourage you. But I think my start, not necessarily my start point, but I think I had done a lot of damage to my body leading into it. Even though I had the experience and I thought I was good, I don't think I realized how hard it was going to be. And even though I was constantly around, you get involved in the community and people are doing it around you the whole time, and you feel like you've done it, and you would know, even with your first prep, you'd been so involved in the industry and you'd done so many cuts, and it was just another thing that you were doing, right? Like you were prepared for it. So yeah, we got out, so that was July, August, September. I had a little bit of a break in October. I came back November. I had not the most awful Christmas. Do not prep for season A. Hey?
No.
We had Christmas.
That and also I think, there's always
Easter.
events. But Christmas, but also
family.
Who are these people who go to Italy mid comp prep or before? I'm sorry, but that to me is suicide. It's stupid.
So make
One,
sure,
you want to enjoy the food in Italy. This is just a little side rant here, because I know many people that do it. Stupid, all right? Don't go. Go when you're, like, maximally anabolic, like powerlifting, strongest. You got, like, 4,000 calories to play with. That's when you want to go to Italy. And I came back leaner. Because you're doing the walking around, you can't get enough food in.
And that's another topic I think we can go in, is enjoy your holiday.
Yeah,
you're not stressed out, you're sleeping well.
Yes.
Right? Most of my clients who go on holiday come back leaner.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, it can be done. And I think definitely more for the advanced athlete. But that is generally when it's like, okay, I just happen to have an event why I'm in comp prep, and you get good at dealing with that. But don't purposely book a holiday with your significant other, because you won't enjoy it and your partner won't enjoy it, and it's just don't do it, guys.
It's
like, life's hard enough.
It's hard enough when you're going through it on your partner. And let me put it this way, I could not enjoy Christmas with my family. And once again, when you're comp prepping, it is your choice. Do not blame everybody else around you.
It's like college
People
versus
keep
school.
coming, how are you feeling? I'm like, you know what? I feel, yeah, it's pretty shitty. I'm not allowed to say that.
Yeah.
Do we swear?
No, it's explicit.
I don't swear.
No, you can't. You can. It's explicit.
I don't swear that
I
much.
put it on Anchor.
Shitty.
Yeah, there you go.
You feel terrible. And, like, it's your choice, right? Like...
But it is, you've got to, and I think that's a double-edged sword, isn't it? Because then if you do fuck up, you feel like the ownership.
That was a big swear word.
It is.
I work with kids usually.
Raw knowledge. You can say it here. You should do my clients who are teachers. They don't get an opportunity, so it's just blasphemy city when we try it. But that's all right. It's a descriptive language. Anyway, emphasis on raw knowledge.
I'll chuck some Afrikaans ones in.
Oh, go on.
Oh, by the way, South African born.
This is true. Probably should have mentioned. Oh, for people who are listening, I'm sure who are educated will get the accent.
You reckon? Do I have an accent?
Yeah. Especially certain words.
I can chuck it on
listen, hey! Listen here!
I can chuck it on a little bit more if he really wants me to, but I don't think our viewers would, or listeners would be very impressed. Now I don't know where I'm going.
It's almost like a bit of Zulu in there.
Oh, yes.
What was that? No, shout out to my best friend who is South African listening.
Saffers,
Mr. Clifford. Yeah, the old Saffers, eh?
Good structure.
Well, yeah, that's it, because the British and the South African, similar sense of humour, very dry.
Sometimes the Aussies don't quite get us.
No.
Love you, Aussies.
Oh, we do.
I'm an Aussie, though.
God bless them.
I'm passport Aussie.
We are.
Yeah.
The Union Jack's on the flag. You won't like that. That's fine. No. We're all friends, okay? We're united.
100%.
So,
I say 100% a lot.
Well, we're all human, I believe. We should be on the same side. Anyway, that is another podcast for another time. Let's not get into politics now. What were we talking about? So, yeah, no, I think... it is, the ownership's on you. I use the example of, like, you're at school, you're constantly, your teacher's like, you got to be here, you got to be on class, you can't be late and all this. And there's that, it goes from that having that, becoming dependent on others or interdependent versus you become dependent, say when you go to college or high school or wherever you live in the world, whatever you want to call it, university, where the lecturers don't care if you don't turn up. Like, they don't not care as in they're negligent, but you're paying, it's your time, it's your money, you want to get this qualification to be a doctor, physio, a pilot, whatever it may be. And that is where, at some point, in the moment, it can be easy to not turn up. But if you are not turn up and you present, and then, like you said, you get on stage or, you're getting close to the time, you're like, shit, I am not where I need to be because of the decisions I made. Yeah. That's when it can get a little bit scary because it's only you to blame.
Yeah, and that's the thing, I think, with even what we do with our clients, you give them the tools, you give them, like, the programming that you've worked out specifically for them, you've given them nutrition, you've given them macros, you give them everything, but you might only see them once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week if you're lucky, depending on their budget. But once they leave that gym, the onus is on them, right? And, like, don't get me wrong, I had an amazing coach, I've had amazing people around me. I can't sit here and blame anybody else.
No, you got to take ownership.
And, maybe we didn't know what we were coming into because it was my first time prepping and I had never really been that lean. I was always at a certain body fat. Maybe we should have gone a bit leaner before we've gone in, but we just didn't know these things, right? And I think also my mistake as well is probably thinking, oh, well, I've been in the game for so long, like, I'm going to be all right. And I'm quite a strong personality. I don't necessarily always ask for help. And I kind of just went, all right, I'll be all right. I'll do this. And I was just putting a lot on my shoulders. And at the same time, and this is what comes down to, I had a fair bit of stress in my life at that time in the sense of I wasn't sleeping properly because I was working ungodly hours. Like, you know, you're up at 4:30 in the morning, you've got clients from 5, you know, early morning, and then you're back, and then you're coming back in again in the evenings, and then you're still trying to find time to train. And, you know, all those things play such a massive factor. Like stress, sleep. Seriously, if you are going into a comp prep, you need to get your stress under control. You need to make sure you're sleeping well. Once you've got that sorted out, and then once again, don't plan your life around comp, right? Plan your comp, like plan your life, and then see where your comp's going to fit in. And that comes from my very wise boss that I'm with at the moment, Nathan Wallace. And after everything that happened, he said, Sandy, you know, you put everything in your life on hold. You put your your first year wedding anniversary on hold. You know, we didn't do anything for hubby's birthday. Easter, we usually go away with friends and we go camping and enjoy life. See ya, have a good day.
Yeah, see you next time.
Yeah, and you know, so you put all that stuff on hold, and then you got to we were probably, how far are we out, Alex? And I say this because Alex was kind of like my sounding board throughout my whole comp prep. Like you become a little bit, what's the word I'm looking for?
Reliant?
You become like, you know, when you're just in your own little world and you
there's in a bit of a bubble.
You're in a little bubble, you know, it's not even but you become a loner to a degree.
Oh yeah.
You know
hermit?
what I mean? Yeah, a bit of a hermit. Yeah, a hermit crab.
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking at, you know. So I think it was nice having you here and you starting out at EMF and you just being through the whole experience. And I think you're very much in the same situation as I was, because we'd almost done it so many times but never done it.
Yeah.
And a lot of people kind of thought,
make.
you know, and we're both very positive people.
Very
and
similar.
Everyone's like, oh, you know, like they're still so happy and everything is so good, but inside maybe we were just that
dying a little bit.
Yeah, dying a little bit.
At some point.
Mate,
and people notice it
90
more.
grams of carbohydrates.
Ooh.
You're dying, right?
Yeah.
Like,
and it's not just 90 for one day. It's you've tapered into 90 and now that is your set point. And it's a dark place sometimes. It's a very dark place, isn't it?
I dream about food. Like, and I joke because I make, and you'll probably see on my Instagram, I make my dogs pretty good food. Like, they have kangaroo mince, carrots, zucchini, and rice. And I would literally sit there and look at my dog's food, and I would be like, I could just eat this whole, like, this is crazy what you go through. I could eat all this food out of their bowl, even after they'd eaten it and left it over. But you have to stop yourself. Like, you literally have to stop yourself, because you know, and this is why it's healthy and it's good and it's great and it's great body positive, you know, image. There's a lot of positives to it, but that is like,
we're not really selling it, are we, at the minute?
No, but that is how you think, you know.
It's true, and
but
this
you
is what
do have
needs
to
to be
be
said.
a little bit. You do have to be a little bit eccentric, or whatever you want to call it, because it's
crazy.
A different world.
It is.
Totally different world, you know. So I was like. And the thing is, I started here and I climbed up this ladder and I was just getting leaner and leaner and I was feeling good, I was looking good. And to anybody in the gym working in it, and I don't want to harp on this, but to anybody in the gym, Gen Pop, commercial gym, whatever you want to call it, I was out of that physique world and I was here, and everybody here was like, are you stepping on stage next week? Like, when's your comp? Have you already had your comp? Did you win? And I'm thinking, you have no idea how far I still need to go. You know, yeah, I'm at, you know, 14, 13, probably I think the lowest 13.2%, whatever that was, body fat, you know, way lower than what I started as far as weight wise. I was already 12 kilos lower than where I started, but I still knew how far I had to go. And because of the position I was in as a coach and because of the environment I've been involved in, I kept moving the ballpark. I kept going, I don't want this just to be my first comp. I want to go in and win, and I want to do well, and I want to do my coach proud, and I want to do the people around me proud, and I want to be able to work and hold your own one day and, you know, look good and promote that. And that's what, and it's good for your business. You can say what you want, but I wasn't doing it for that. I was doing it for myself, right? I was doing it because it was a personal goal I wanted to achieve.
Right.
Got 4 weeks out and, yeah, my body just stopped. My body just said, nah, this is it. Like, you've already just, like, and you know, creds, because we couldn't really go any lower than what I was doing. I was already doing like 28,000 steps a day. I was on pretty low calories. There was
no room to move.
There was no room to move. And remember, I started from a very active background already. And I didn't have to do more cardio because I was already, this gym is huge, right? I was already walking around getting heaps of steps. So already my NEAT was already quite high. And so everything was higher and higher and higher and more and more and more and less food. And yeah, I mean, if you think about it, if you've already lost 12 kilos and a heck of a lot of, you know, body fat, and you're gone like down in 3 dress sizes, how much more can your body give, right?
That's it. There's only so far you got to go before you actually do some serious damage to yourself.
And that is like, and then, you know, you go to like, because then you, at that stage, your whole world feels like is falling apart. Like, it's nothing compared to what I've been in my past. I've had some pretty serious things happen in my life, you know, but at the same time, nothing prepares you for that moment. Like, I remember driving back after check-in going, what has all this work been for? Nothing, you know? Had I looked back now and been a little bit sensible, maybe I would have pushed on a little bit longer and just given it a go for my first time and just got on stage.
Hindsight is a great thing, though. I think I just want to quickly interject, because you made I want to highlight and emphasize a point you made earlier about if you are going to do physique sports, there are a couple of like non-negotiables. I think is definitely, if you want to do it correctly, by the way, because there's a lot of people unfortunately out there and a lot of coaches
if you're going
don't
to
do it
someone
right
and says 12 weeks,
don't do it. That's a red flag.
12 months,
we'll probably do a Q&A series, I think, going over these things. I think that would be really good to really get into the weeds. But right now, for the benefit of the conversation and keeping the flow, definitely be in the right place mentally, financially, physically, spiritually, however you want to call it. You have to be in the right place, because it will, if you want to do it properly, it will take every ounce of your discipline, of your will, of your strength, of your power. And if you're not in a good place, and look, don't get me wrong, don't wait for the perfect moment, because that never arises.
Because there's never a perfect moment in anything in life, right?
Exactly. But you need to be, don't do it in a place where you've got like, say, a wedding coming up, or if you've got, for example, you're studying, you know, to a degree, or you've got like a master's, like, and you listen to key people in the industry who've done it, and they say, look,
just remove as much stress from your life as possible.
Make sure you got a good working, like, you got to think about all that, you got to plan ahead.
Support is so important. A good coach,
well, that's the
good
key.
Friends, good family. Like, no one's going to understand how silly you are when you come into Christmas with...
They just don't get it.
Yeah,
make it
people are
easy
going
for
to
you.
think you're crazy.
And that's what they're going to think anyway.
Yeah.
But I think that was just a really good point, and I just wanted to emphasize it. Make sure you do your research. People are too quick to, I'll just do a comp prep. No. It's not a WBFF, get up, think you're shredded, and you're actually just beach laying competition. If you want to do authentic physique sports, you're going to get to low body fat levels. It is very dangerous if you don't know what you're doing, and it can end up, for most people, causing more harm than good. And that's why we have these muppets who are out there saying, oh, comp prep's real bad. Well, it's like, no shit, Sherlock, when it's done wrong. And yes, it's not good for long periods of time. However, it's also an excuse for all these people to advocate that comp prep is bad, period. And it's not.
No, it's great.
Specific niche for specific people. We are not advertising it for most people, and I would steer most people away from it, because I don't think they're cut out for it, and I say that in the best place possible, because for most people the best place to live is in that niche or in that middle zone where you look better than the average, you feel good, you can rip your top off, you feel confident, you can go out without tracking macros, you can miss a week at the gym, go on holiday. That's the bread and butter. That's where the success lies. But I don't think it's fair, again, that it gets a bad rap, unfortunately, because of bad coaches or people who have bad experiences, or people, unfortunately, who, and I'm sorry, but lead by example, who want to give it who want to critique something that they've never done. I'm sorry, but if you want to critique something specifically, walk the walk before you talk the talk. Go and do a comp prep, do it properly, maybe even do it a couple of times, because again, we've only done it once, so we're not.
I'm jumping in. I'm putting it out there. I'm jumping in next year because I loved it.
Yeah.
If I sit back now, sensible person. Again, like, I've gone through all of that. I have learned so much. It is better. I am better prepared next time round. I have a lovely pool of coaches around me at the moment. And it's just, I would do it again in a heartbeat. I loved it. As much as I went through some crazy stuff, I learned so much and I loved it. And I think, let's not get it wrong, like, we are talking about figure athletes, bodybuilding. Like, we're not talking about bikini. We're not talking, I mean, even, like, and don't get me wrong, bikini fitness, there are girls out there that have done things the right way that look wonderful, that don't have the muscle mass to go into figure. It's completely different. But unfortunately, I was in a situation where I was 4 weeks out. I had way, my structure, my structure was way too big to just go and compete in fitness. And not just go, but I had too much muscle. Can I say that? My physique was not suited to fitness, right?
No,
So I couldn't hop on stage and be a fitness model because I would have been marked down.
Too big, too lean.
So I had a lot of
Which sounds weird.
Yeah.
You don't often get that critique, do you?
I had a lot more to go to be figure ready, and I understand that now. And so that's where I came from. And I think a lot of girls these days, and I'm harping on girls again, but they haven't eaten properly leading in, right? They've probably been maybe on 1,000 calories, 900 calories, and then they come in and they want to hop on stage. So what do coaches do? Sure, come in, all right? We'll just diet you down and give you heaps of cardio, because you know what? You haven't consistently had a good off season or you haven't been eating properly your whole life. You need to get that up. So if you're going to come and see us, make sure that you're coming in at a good point. We want to get as much history, as much knowledge about you as we possibly can before we even think about competing. I had a lady that came and saw me, in the week, and I said she wanted to compete in 12 weeks, and I said no, because I do not have enough history of you. I don't know what you've been eating. I don't know what you've been doing. There is no way. You're already pretty lean. How do we get you leaner? What have you done? I need to spend time with you. Fine, we got 32, 33 weeks till season A next year. Yeah, let's do it. Yeah. Let's spend some time together. Let's get a history. Let's understand where you're at.
And that's a hard conversation to have when people have got their heart set on it, and then you have to re-educate them from a different place, but you're doing your due diligence. They might walk away and then go, well, she's not going to take me. I'll do a comp prep 12 weeks with somebody else.
Yeah.
And then they have a bad experience, and then they come back and go, I fucked up. And it's like, yeah, if you'd only just listened. And just a caveat, by no means are we experts. We've had a lot of of experience, but we are fortunate enough, because again, I don't want to be like, I know everything about comp prep because I've done it once. However, me and Sandy have worked in the industry for a long time, but we also are very fortunate to work alongside people who have been in the industry a long time, but also have the knowledge within comp prep, who we source our knowledge from, and we're always trying to upskill and educate. So I just want to put that out there, because I don't want people to think that we know it all. We don't.
Know it all. We don't.
There's always more to learn.
There's always more. Thank you. You took the words out of my mouth.
We're on the same page. But we are passionate about what we do. We're practicing what we preach. We want to get out there. We're trying to get more experience, because eventually we want to be able to be at a point where, again, there's always more to learn, but we've got a lot more intensive experience within the industry, and we're both going to step on stage again, and it'll be better, and we'll learn things, and we'll make mistakes, and then we'll do it better again, and it's always a learning process, so that we can better help other people. That is, at the end of the day, creating an awareness, improving the industry standard. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to have leave a positive footprint, and for people who are interested in doing this, we need to create more of awareness. Even though there's a lot of the quote-unquote good guys out there now, there's a lot more bad guys, but it's sometimes not their fault. They're not aware of what they're putting out, and they're causing a lot of damage. So we need to help people see, the truth, the light, from a better perspective and more education. So I think just keep that in mind, team. But Sandy, back to you. Continue on. I think talking about now, to kind of springboard off that, what again, apart from some of the things you mentioned, what you've learned, what are you going to do next time, now that you are so close and you've now got more food, you've had a chance to really digest and go back through that experience.
It's been so good.
Excuse the pun. Where's your mind frame at now? What's your plan of attack? Where are your thoughts at? How are you going to strategically approach the next prep? And when is it going to be?
So I'm doing a powerlifting comp at the moment.
Oh, yeah.
So in the past I've done one, which was just a GPC contest, and everyone dared me to do one, and I was like, okay, we'll do it as a group event. No one came. I was the only one who did it. Back then, no formal training.
As you do.
No formal training for powerlifting, so it was really pretty good. That wasn't too bad. 110 squat, 130 dead, and a 55 bench. Bench is not my favorite, but it wasn't too bad for no formal training, and just went in and did it and had some fun. It was awesome. So all the boys at Hold Your Own were hopping on board and doing a powerlifting comp. Now I'm the only one doing it, but it's okay, guys. Next time.
Lead by example.
Yeah, so we've actually got a group of us doing it together. And
to be fair, they've just done a couple before you. Then they kind of burned out a little bit.
They've done. You guys know I love you all to bits. So so I'm competing on the 2nd of November. So at the moment, my main focus is just getting not as much calories into my body, but just eating well again, getting the macros up there again, just enjoying life in the sense. Don't get me wrong though, because I've gone back to bro science when it comes to food. Because I was finding I was eating a lot of, especially after comp prep, a lot of calorie dense food and really high satiety food. And now with the amount of training that I'm doing and just the pure volume and pure intensity of the training, I've really had to think about how I'm going to get the most efficiency out of my food. So I've really just gone back to good old basmati rice, lean beef mince, turkey mince, chicken, like heaps of vegetables, and really just fueling around my training. So getting my carbs up around my training, having a little bit less to eat. I've been doing a lot of research on, eating according to your circadian rhythm as well. So I'm really trying to just get as much food as I possibly can around my training. And gosh, it's been awesome. So
basics are the best.
Basic bro science food.
It's funny when you go back to those foods though, right? Because you almost a little bit apprehensive. You're like, I don't want to give away too many calories.
And you're always
I could have
thinking,
more than that. But then you're like, I'm actually too full now.
Yeah.
I do need to stop choosing like the potato or the sweet potato.
But you're always thinking as well, why am I doing this to myself when I know I've got a diet again and I can only eat this food? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So then you're like, I should be eating all the nice foods.
You've
And
got
don't
to
get
have
me
some
wrong.
flexibility.
And don't get me wrong, like this weekend we've got a friend's 40th, so, but mind you, I am doing testing on Saturday, so I'm not too worried. I'll be doing my testing. I'm going to get a massive workout. I monitor stuff on my watch and my heart rate, and like, I'm not worried because it'll be over 1,000 calorie burn because you know how long testing takes and how much it takes it out of you. So I'm really not worried going out that night and having, a good feed that night. So that I still have a life at the moment, which not that you don't have a life when you're comp prepping, but I have flexibility at the moment.
But it does. It kind of takes it away from you a little bit.
100,
You don't have the 100%. You get better at it, but you have to be a little bit more thoughtful when you choose off the menu rather than when you're lifting. And this is another benefit of getting, strong and doing these big compound movements. You get to eat more food and you get to look better. Yeah. It's a win-win. And as you acclimate more muscle mass, that requires more calories to move on the skeletal system, and you just put yourself in a more advantageous position. Obviously, there's a point where
800 calories more than what we were,
exactly,
and still maintaining a constant body weight, which is pretty good. Still nervous to pump in a bit more because I still have that brain, and even as a coach, I can still educate myself better. I still get fearful. I should be learning to be more fearless.
Did
you see
I
that?
like how you tied that in there. There you go.
But so
didn't even pay you to say that.
So I'm drinking the Kool-Aid again. It's all about powerlifting. Don't get me wrong though, because I've always done powerlifting.
Yeah, I think a lot of strength-based athletes who train intelligently, they're the bedrock. It's not about that. It's not just about the squat. It's about the adaptations that it presents. It's about what you can learn from the squat, skill acquisition, adaptations.
We've had to change locations because the car got quite warm. So
just a tad.
Again, minor troubleshooting. So it might be a bit echoey for this last 10 minutes.
Just
deal with it. Because I've sorted a solution. So just take the knowledge bombs, alright? Ease up. Alright, so we were about to transition into, after our ranting on comp rep, which was great. And we're
in summary, we love it, we'll do it again, do it healthy, we'll get onto all those other things.
And we'll do, I think we'll do a specific series on comp rep as well, and we'll involve a couple of coaches and we'll sort of divulge into those key points. So if you've got any questions, as always, start sending them in. I'll compile a list, I'll get to them one by one, and we will get to them. So let's go on to the more rapid fire questions now, Sandy. Quick, bit of fun, light-hearted, answer them as quickly as honestly as possible. This first one
no thinking.
Yes, zero thinking. This first one will be really relevant. What is, if you have one last meal, okay, or you just had to eat one food for what would be your favourite composition of food? And I know, now you're in a good position to have to comp rep to kind of assess what you would eat. What would it be?
You know what? South African born. Steak and chips. I know that sounds really boring.
No, but it's the quality of
it's
it.
Just
a good South African, people who know.
A good South African, nice fried steak, not barbecued steak, like open fire steak. We're not talking gas barbecue, we're talking a braai, so you've got wood, and you've got fire, obviously you've got fire. Blunt moment. Just a good medium rare steak.
No, but it goes because it adds to the flavour.
It's just no sauce.
Gives it the calorie.
No sauce, no nothing. With some good chips, and I'm happy.
Basics.
Yeah, honestly.
Basics are the best.
Yeah, that's it. I'm happy.
Alright.
I spoke about that already in the podcast.
No, but
I said how much I love steak and chips.
Well, it's good though, and basically the best. You can't be any version of say pasta or rice or the best
Yeah.
All the basics of the best.
I mean, who But honestly,
Right,
like,
sauce on bread. No, I'm not going to that. Mom's Italian. Best food.
Oh,
Basics.
second.
Emphasising the basics of what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, the next one is, if you could have a superpower, what would it be and why?
Wow, that is a cool question. I think invisibility.
Ooh,
Because
yeah. I know, boy, yeah.
I'm a very inquisitive person.
So you're the person who likes to be the fly on the wall.
Yeah, I think invisibility would just be cool. I don't know. I don't
Like
know why.
like a
As I
cloak
said,
or an ability to just go full incognito.
just go full incognito. And I don't even know why. Like, as I said, don't think about it. That's the first thing that came to mind.
No,
It's
that's
visibility. Yeah.
I reckon it'd be cool if he had so much.
I did think super strength, but then I was like, how do I use that?
Whole trash.
Totally. I just like, yeah, like, I don't know, maybe, I don't know why I said that. Oh, it might be something, any psychologists out there, let me know why I said that.
There you go. Write in, get them on. You need to get them. Actually, you've got a couple of psychologists coming up.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, I reckon that'd be a good round table.
Yeah.
Okay, next one is, if you could wake up anywhere in the world tomorrow, where would it be and why?
Fiji.
Fiji.
Yeah.
That's appropriate.
Fiji, honestly, every time I go there, I just reevaluate my whole life. And it's just a matter of you go
Is that
there.
like your happy place?
It's my happy place, and the Fijian people are just the most beautiful people. They wake up, they drink, they cover, they play rugby, they're very religious, and they just have a happy life. They're so happy with what they have, and they're surrounded by all these, Western people that come there and spend exorbitant amounts of money, and they will do anything for you. Service people, they're just beautiful people, and I'm just so relaxed when I go there. It's my happy place. I love Fiji. Yeah, and it makes you realize that everything that we just spoke about means nothing. Like, I'm not trying to be funny, but if you're happy and you have good people in your life, you have a roof over your head, you're actually able to train like we train, and you're actually able to. It's actually, it's a good thing that you can do that, and you can move, and you can be healthy and a better person. That's a privilege. That's seriously a privilege. When you talk to the people there and you realize, and I come from South Africa, you realize how much hardship people have had in life.
Yeah.
And it's actually, we are so privileged, and we are so privileged in Australia specifically. And yeah, it just puts your life into perspective. Have people that you love, and be happy, thankful that you have health. And yeah, it's just, don't take your health for granted. It's an investment.
That's a good message. And definitely on the to-do list as a moment to Fiji.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
As we recently did.
Yeah.
Alright, into my last question. As I always ask all my guests, it can be related to what we've talked about today, or it can be completely unrelated. It's up to you. Can you identify a fear in your life, a major fear? It might not have to be something, again, that's really grandiose. It might be a small fear that led to a great learning, but something, very pivotal point, very pivotal chapter that you had to overcome. It was a fear-based one, and what you learned from overcoming it.
Cool.
What was it?
I suppose my biggest fear in life is losing the people that I love. And I suppose, and this is another chapter and we can delve into that a bit more, but I suppose losing my father at a very young age when I was 17, 18 years old, and I think I become so invested in people that I'm always worried that they're going to leave me. And I have to get over that fear. Like, I build these relationships with people and I'm always worried that they're going to go. And you focus on these fears that probably will never eventuate, and you start building all these things. And I think that applies to anything in life. I think if we're so worried about what tomorrow is going to bring and what the future is going to bring, we're not focusing on the now. And I think that's what's happened, is you have this fear of losing people, and you're always worrying about the unforeseen and what could happen and you just forget about what. Yeah. So I think that's a good lesson. I think if you've ever lost anything or lost anyone or lost anything or lost perspective, like, stop worrying about tomorrow, stop worrying about what's happening I think we're always planning and preparing, which is not a bad thing, but sometimes we get so lost in the now and just the quality of things that is going on in our lives now. Don't always look up the ladder, sometimes you need to look down and realise how far you've come and not worry about what's all ahead of you.
It's true, it's a good analogy.
Yeah.
I know that. Yeah.
It's probably a little bit more on the other side of things,
but it is, and it's important to address that as well, because again, it's three-dimensional.
It sculpts you as a person. Like, it's
It's that overthinking that we all have, or overthinking about problems that don't exist, or the acronym, or one acronym for fear, false expectations appearing real, fear everything and run, or face everything and rise, and however you want to, put it or context it. But it is true. I think a lot of people out there can relate to having a sense of loss, not necessarily someone in their family.
No, it could be anything. It could be
a
loss of a job, a loss of not winning something that you've worked so hard towards. It could be anything like that, and you just got to approach it and move on and learn from it, and to bigger and better and greater things in the future.
100%. And I'll drink a protein shake to that. And I think that's an appropriate way to end what's been an entertaining, blasted conversation.
So long overdue, hey?
All things Trump. It's been great. Sandy, thank you for making the time. Thank you for sharing your wisdom, your thoughts, your experiences. We will definitely be doing a round 2, and I'm sure much more to come. For the people who want to know more, follow, find out more, where can they find you, where should they go? Tell the lovely people listening.
Well, I suppose the first place you can go is just Hold Your Own. And then from there, so Instagram, Sandy at Hold Your Own. That's probably the easiest place to find me. And then from there, I've got all my social links on that. But yeah, just go through the Hold Your Own Instagram page, and you'll find plenty of the videos of us lifting and all the coaches there, and that's probably the best place to find me.
Fantastic. And I'll second that, as always. And I will put the links in the show notes below, in the YouTube links below, so you can find out more about that, and those links that Sandy referenced, more about Hold Your Own, some of the people that we
come and check out my powerlifting journey.
Exactly. Stay up to date. You'll not regret it. That's if you have an interest in approaching your training more intelligently, and you want to improve your health, your physique, you want to approach it in a more intelligent way, definitely follow along. This is good knowledge, guys. We're not lying to you here. We're good people. We're trying to help you achieve a better body composition in a more intelligent way and live a better lifestyle holistically, which is the truth at the end of the day. As always, guys, thank you for watching. We'll be back next week with another amazing guest, with another interesting subject. But in the meantime, as always, stay fearless. Do a bit of a cheeky flex on the way out. Boom. I'll come back. There you go. Now it's fair, because I just don't know how
the lighting, alright? Come on.
It's all about that half-natty lighting.